back east. There are very powerful people who want to keep you out.
I know they do.
But they're willing to put their money where their mouth is in a big way. So, this conversation never happened.
I think you should go public with this and then say, hey.
No. I turned my key in my car and I just... I like myself.
Tell them I'm not flattered. I'm offended that they...
Don't tell anybody we had this conversation.
I'm offended that they don't care about our country more.
Wow. Stunning audio revealing then Arizona Republican Chairman Jeff DeWitt attempted to persuade Kerri Lake from running for U.S. Senate. The leaked audio led DeWitt to resign, claiming he was set up. This comes as Republicans in the Senate are attempting to reach a deal with Democrats on border security that would reportedly allow 5,000 migrants to cross the southern border illegally every day before anything is done about it, before a Title 42 type of mandate would be enacted. In a letter on Friday, House Speaker Mike Johnson said that deal would be dead on arrival if it makes its way into the lower chamber. Let's get into it now in this Sunday Morning Futures exclusive with Arizona Senate Republican candidate Kerri Lake. Kerri, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. A lot to discuss with you. Let's first talk about this potential bribe. What can you tell us? What happened?
Well, I've been talking about this for 11 months since it happened. I went public with it immediately after. I didn't name who it was, but I said they attempted to bribe me to stay out of politics. And just this week, I actually found that recording that I made and I put it out. It happened right here in my home at my dining room table when the former AZ GOP chair called me and said he was right outside my neighborhood and had to come over right away and talk to me. And it had to be done in person. He couldn't say it on the phone. And that was the conversation that ensued. It was almost 11 minutes of him attempting to bribe me. I told him to go back to the people back east who were putting him up to this and tell them they'd have to kill me before I would stop, because we don't have time to sit around and wait. We have to jump in, all of us, get active and help save this country. Thankfully, he was replaced yesterday at a meeting with the Arizona Republican leadership. He was replaced by an incredible woman who is an election integrity hero and will make prioritizing securing our elections here in Arizona a top priority going into 24. So everyone in Arizona is breathing a big sigh of relief.
Well, this is really important. What are they afraid of? Why don't they want you to run? And number two, what can you tell us about election integrity for the presidential election in 2024? What are you seeing from the Republicans? Any efforts to ensure we have a free and fair election?
Well, for the first part of that, why don't they want me to run? There were several polls that had just come out about that time showing that I was the only Republican who could win that seat. And the polling also shows I'm incredibly popular with independents in Arizona, which is a great thing. But I think they're really worried about that. I'm an America First Republican. I don't apologize for that. I do support President Trump. I don't apologize for that. He gave us a secure, safe, prosperous America. And I think they want to get people back in the U.S. Senate who they can control, who might be more of the neocon type Republican, who are going to continue to push for endless wars, who are going to continue to push for an open border policy, like the ones we currently have representing us, Kyrsten Sinema and Mark Kelly.
Well, let's talk about that, because right now Lankford is working on his plans for a border security bill. I spoke with John Ratcliffe about it this morning. And he said to me, all Republicans should be saying, go back to what Trump was doing. Go back to what was working. Enforce our laws and tell our friends to the South to cooperate, or there will be economic consequences. We see none of that in this border deal. What is your reaction to this border deal that you've got to have 5,000 people crossing into America before anything can get done in terms of sending them back?
It's outrageous. It's a slap in the face to the American people. They also want us to pay for all of these fraudulent asylum seekers' attorneys' fees. And, they're paying for their food and their clothing and their hotels and their airfares and their phones. It's just disgusting. And I call it the Sinema-Schumer package and deal, because Kyrsten Sinema, who I'm running against, is actually part of this. My problem with it, I think President Trump's problem with it, is they need to make sure that nobody supports this, because it would codify all of these outrageous things like you just mentioned, legalizing nearly 2 million of these people entering illegal every year, making us pay for their attorney's fees and all of these things. We don't want to codify this into law. Go back to exactly what President Trump was doing. I live in Arizona. I covered this state for 27 years. It was never more safe and secure. than under President Trump, and he used the laws that we already have. Joe Biden, if he just followed the laws, we wouldn't have this problem. But he wants this problem because, Maria, on day one, hour one, he came in and pulled back President Trump's incredible border policy, and this is what has ensued. 12 million people here illegally.
Unbelievable. You just mentioned the Arizona elections. Yeah, go ahead, Kerri. Did you want to say something else?
And I will say one thing. This is a Biden invasion, invasion that was orchestrated and planned by this corrupt administration. And in order to save our homeland, we got to send these people back to their homeland. Sure. And I think we need to start the largest repatriation project immediately to process these people and send them back to their homeland so that we can save our homeland.
So you just mentioned the Arizona elections. What specifically have you seen from the new chairwoman as well in terms of efforts to ensure a safe and fair and free election?
Well, she just got voted in yesterday, but she has been working tirelessly for decades. She has an incredible knowledge of how the Secretary of State's office works because she used to work there. She knows how the county recorder's offices work. she has relationships with people around the state. And most importantly, she's got incredible relationship with election integrity groups who want to pour $1 million or more into lawfare to offset and stop any attempt to steal this election. She cares greatly about securing our elections. She's lived for it. It's her line of work, and she's going to take it very seriously. So I'm encouraged by Gina Swoboda and what she's going to do for not only the Republican Party, but for the American vote and the Arizona voters.
Yeah, it's interesting to me to see that so many illegals, when they cross into America, they go to Arizona first. Is that what you see?
Yeah, and it's because right now Texas is Governor Abbott is laying down the gauntlet, and it's a little harder to cross through there. And so Arizona is an easier place to cross. We have the human smuggling line is all set up. The cartels are all set up. These NGOs that process these people, get them their phones, get them their airfare, and send them off to a city near you. Yeah, it's all set up here, and so it's an easy state for them to run this human smuggling operation, which our federal government is aiding and abetting in.
Kerri, has President Trump contacted you about being his vice president?
You know what? I talk to President Trump all the time. I'm not going to talk about what we do talk about, but I'm really definite that he will choose somebody who is good for this country. You know, you just had Dr. Ben Carson on, an incredible man. I love that man. There are so many great leaders in the America First movement, Maria, that I know that if President Trump closed his eyes and pointed at any one of them and we lined them all up, he'd pick a great one. So I'm going to support whoever he picks. I'm excited for President Trump to get back in the White House and start turning things around because our state here in Arizona depends on him getting in the White House so we can secure the border. And I'll support whoever he picks.
Kerri, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Maria.
All right, Arizona Senate candidate Kerri Lake joining us this morning in Arizona. A quick break, and then President Trump is on a roll. Despite facing criminal cases brought by Biden's Department of Justice, as well as Democrat DAs in New York and Georgia, former President Trump is leading in the polls in a potential rematch with President Biden. Former Trump senior counselor and Fox News contributor Kellyanne Conway is here on the issues most important to voters outside of the Beltway. That's